Uh, all right.
Are we doing the What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Boiler Express podcast. I think we've officially got the train back on the tracks. I think this is gonna be a weekly thing now from now until the end of basketball season because football and basketball they collide into each other there. So I think we're back on the train and ready to.
Shout out to Russ and I for carrying this wagon all off season. Our
You're
backs are
not wrong.
killing us.
You're not. But yeah, it's been a hard summer to get everybody together. We've all had different stuff going on, so it's good to be back, getting ready get into sports mode and everything, and to get ready for football season. I'm so ready, man.
I
Every
love
time I look
sports.
at Instagram or Facebook and I see the videos that Purdue football's posting, I just tweeted a little bit ago that I don't care what the stats say. I don't care what anybody else says. As soon as we beat Indiana State, very handily, I'm gonna be chugging that Kool-Aid. I'm gonna be ready for the rest of the season. I'm excited and I'm hyped up. What about you guys?
Yeah, I wish I could say that I was in that camp, Damon. I'm not sure I will be. I think even if I'll say win Purdue wins, 45-0 against Indiana State, I still won't be drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh,
Just
I'm drinking it. I'm drinking
oh
yeah,
yeah.
all of it, though.
yeah. Why is that, Dylan?
I don't know, man. I'm feeling good about what's happening. I think I tweeted the other day. Walt has brought this energy to the program, and he's kept the energy going. I think it's one thing to bring the energy when you first get to a program, but he's consistently kept the energy going. He's recruited well. He's kept guys like Hudson and my guy Gus. So I mean, I don't know. I feel I'm always like I'll never go into a season of any Purdue sport being like we're gonna lose every game. God, like I said, I think on the huddle or the Ohio Pod, one of the two, that like I'm hoping for 6 wins. I'm not gonna sit here and be like Purdue's going undefeated and we're gonna go to a Rose Bowl and we're gonna beat Alabama twice. Like I don't know. That's not gonna happen. But
Hell
if
yeah,
we
brother.
hell yeah. Roll Tide. Anyway, if if we get 6 wins and we make it to a Pop Tart Bowl or another Cheez It Bowl, which I don't think any of us want to recreate the Cheez It Bowl, I'll be happy with it. And I think for Walters to have a comfortable next off season, if he gets that 6 win and a bucket, I think he'll keep the fan base at bay. It's hard to keep this fan base at bay, as we know. They wanted to fire Paint how many times before he went to the Natty, and good Lord Almighty,
That still doesn't even feel real. Like I still can't process like, oh yeah, Purdue played in the national championship
I
last
haven't
year. Like
either.
that.
Every time I think about it, and even I have the exponent behind me. Yeah, no, every time like I've watched the NC State game a few times, and I'm like, this really did happen. Like, where was I? Like, why don't I remember? It's very cool. But no, I think if Walt gets that 6 win in a bowl and the bucket, I think it'll calm the fan base. And not that they're not calm now. I feel like everything's fairly positive around the football program at the moment.
Hmm.
And I think what
Yeah.
what he's done with sending out these videos from practice and I think that helps. Under Brom, you never saw anything like that. We never had an inside view of practices or fun things the guys were doing or anything like that. And I think when you let the fans in a little bit behind the scenes, I think it makes them feel a little bit more included. I think it makes them feel a little bit more closer to the program, which then makes them happy. So I think Walt is doing everything right. And I don't know what that little motion was, but I think he's doing everything right, and that's why I'm excited. I like the energy he's brought to the program.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I think the 6 wins is definitely that next step in like having a consistent, building off of what you did the year before. The only thing that sucks is now bowl games, unless it's the college football playoff, you're gonna have a huge. Uh, I feel like you're gonna have like a mass exodus of players not wanting to play, sitting out, whatever it is. Um, so I would love to get to 6 wins, but it kind of sucks now because you almost know that like a lot of your team's probably not going to play in that game if they make it there. Um, but yeah, seeing the videos and everything has gotten me really excited too. Because honestly, I've forgotten a lot of the players that Walters has picked up over the last year. Like I was looking at the roster again, and like we've got a good handful of like 4-star secondary players coming in. I think Luke Williams, Earl Cup or Culp, or I can't remember what his last name is, from St. Louis or something in that area. And then we've got the Coy Beasley. You've got that 5-star guy that reclassed to this year as well. So a lot of potential. Um, and so, yeah, this year's really exciting. You get to see what he can do with more athletic players, more elite players. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I'm stoked for it. I love football season. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, even when we were in the dark days back in the early 2010s, man, I was still excited for football when the season was coming around because it always felt like I just talked myself into it. It was like, okay, this is the year that they're going to get over the hump. This is the year that something's going to change. Um, so yeah, I'm excited either way.
I think Walters too has a few chances to have that key first big massive win with the schedule
Yeah,
we got.
Notre Dame, Oregon,
Yeah,
all
the
sorts of.
schedule's brutal, but it also gives Walt a time to get that signature win that he hasn't gotten yet. And I see the Ohio Pod is in the house tonight, and maybe that's a November 9th win against Ohio State in the shoe, which I will be in attendance for. So I don't know. Maybe we beat Ohio State. Maybe we beat Oregon or Wisconsin, like Cody said in the next comment. You never know. You never know. Gordy's
Mhm.
in the house. Gordy is here. He says hello.
So question, and this may be an unpopular question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is this the season that we finally stop talking about the Ohio State win in 2018?
Oh, dude, I'll be talking about that
No,
until I die.
no,
Just
that's our banner. We're gonna hang.
not just, and it's not because we beat
I'm just
Ohio
kidding.
State and they're what, two, I think, two or three, two.
Yeah, number
Uh,
2.
but like the things that happen outside of the football game with Tyler and I don't know. To me that game is one of those rare times where a fan base can talk about it a lot just because we have the incredible memory. And for me, it was watching uh, Ethan wheel Tyler to the locker room right before the game ended. It was just cool. So I don't know. Like I get it.
And
We don't need to be talking about it every year, but like it's like a fond memory for many reasons other than the football game that happened on the
yeah,
Well, and I think there's a fundamental difference that we should define between how Purdue fans remember that game. And like we've talked about it before, but when we look at the school down south and their desire to clutch on to a win against over Kentucky in basketball in like what 2010, and they still put it on t-shirts, they still have people reenact the shot at halftime and things like that. But I think you make a good point, Dylan, in that game was was about more than the fans, it's about more than the players. It was really about Tyler Trent. And for that reason, we shouldn't stop talking about it.
and honestly, like and this might be a really unpopular opinion. I don't think us winning. I think us winning as handily as we did was not was out of the question. But I don't think us winning that game was so crazy because, like, yeah, if you look at it on paper, we were 3-3, but we were also coming off of a 3-game winning streak
Mm-hmm.
when that game happened too. Um, and then I think was it the following week we ended up beating Iowa as well, who was also ranked or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but um, I don't think that we were as bad as um, I feel like it's talked about for that game
I
too.
mean, yeah,
Not saying
they.
that has anything to do with like whether or not we can talk about it, um, but yeah, I
But
just
then you
think we
talk
were.
about then in that game you can talk about the lore of Rondale Moore. Oh, nailed
Oh,
it. Oh,
dude,
gonna trademark the hell out of that.
the one, yeah,
Dylan was
Rondell
sitting on
Moore
that one.
throwing that guy off of him and taking it in for
Yeah.
the touchdown. I
Well,
will
it was, and
never
that
forget
happened
that.
right in front, like right in my view of my seats
Hmm.
at Ross Aid, and I lost my god living. I looked at my dad, and my dad was like, "Did that happen?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I think so." So
I
like,
remember I was. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, so like the day the Rondale Moore play, the David Blau killing it, Easy Chuku getting the first touchdown. Some of the calls Herb Street and what's
Fowler.
Fowler. I don't know, man. Like I just think it's one of those wins that meant a lot to Purdue fans other than the result on the field. And you look at a lot of the clips of Tyler up in the box, and I become pretty close with the Trent family, so that's always a moment that'll stick out in my head. But yeah, I think Purdue fans should celebrate any big win. It's something I'll be talking about until I'm dead. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll never forget. I was third row on the north end zone, and I saw him shed that tackle, and I was like, "Come to Papa, come to."
I'm so happy I wasn't on the podcast at that time. Oh my God, because I remember I tweeted after the game, as a guy who lives in Ohio, grew up with Buckeyes, like they've given me plenty of hell over the years. And like my first tweet after the game in Ross-Ade was, feed me your tears, Ohio State fans. And I had a lot of pissed off people. A lot.
Mm-hmm. I would love to have Marcus Bailey on here sometime to talk about the game, just with him being
that
from
would be
Ohio.
Dylan would like that for multiple reasons. Resident Bengals fan.
Yeah, but he's on the Cardinals now.
Did he? I didn't know that.
The Bengals released him.
Good for
he's
him.
With Arizona. Yeah, I'll root for him wherever he goes. But I did. We still got Chuck Sizzle though.
We got OHIO is roasting Russ right now. So a little bit of a backstory, OHIO guys. We're having some difficulty streaming to YouTube, and Russ was trying, or not YouTube, Twitter, sorry, X. Russ was trying to figure that out, so he purposely turned himself off to fix that. So
attaboy, Russ.
Honestly, I bet if anybody like from any other fan group or anything, say, oh yeah, let's see what let's hear about the Purdue guys talk about their upcoming season, and they tune in and we're talking about 2018 Ohio State. They're probably like, Jesus.
Yeah,
typical Purdue fans.
Yeah,
that's yeah. But the OHIO guys, I can't talk tonight. I like their proposition, if you will. Here's the deal. You can keep talking about it as long as you do it to someone else like Oregon, Penn State, or USC.
Which one? Here's a good question. Which out of those three would you like to beat the most? And then you can add Wisco to that too.
Yeah, that's actually a really thought-provoking question. But let's bookmark.
I don't have it very often, but I got it tonight.
Let's bookmark that one for 1 second. I want to get Russ's take. Russ.
Well, I was going to return the roast since they want to come in here and start talking some smack. For one, if you look right above my head here, there's a little red beanie. That's the only red you'll see in my background because obviously we aren't fans of red here, but it's a little beanie commemorating my win in the bowl challenge that the Ohio podcast ran. The Ohio podcast ran. So I was smarter than them and all their fans, and so now I keep that in there as a memory of that. Also, I think the biggest reason that game is going to live in lore, or one of the biggest reasons at least, is because we knocked the freaking socks off of them. Like it wasn't just like we pulled out a field goal win. Like it was like knockout punch after knockout punch after knockout punch. Like it was just the most hyped I've been in recent memory that I can remember watching a Purdue game. That was right there with, honestly, like the back and forth with Tennessee in the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16 game. When, Klein and Edwards are hitting threes and they're going down and hitting threes. Like it was up there with that. So and also here's the deal, with doing it to somebody else. That's what we do, right? Purdue's got the most wins against top five opponents as unranked teams. So like it's bound to happen again. Yeah.
See, but I don't know if I
think about the Oregon Duck being at the gate of Ross-Ade, going, hey, you're probably going to be a top 5 team headed in there, so you probably don't want to go in there.
That damn duck.
Hey, but now, and Russ is our resident historian. You can fact check me on this one. But now that Nick Saban's retired, we are one of the few schools that he has a losing record to in his coaching tenure. Is that we are we the only school though? I know we were. If we're not the only, we're one of very, very few.
Yeah, there's definitely not a bunch.
But Russ, I wanted to ask you a question that Damon started bringing up while you were gone. When Purdue wins against Indiana State week 1, let's say, I said 45-0, what will your reaction be?
My reaction?
will you be drinking the Kool-Aid? We're going to go 12-0, or are you still going to be skeptical and say, okay, we're going to play better competition. We'll see how things go. What's your reaction going to be like?
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm not drinking a 12-0 Kool-Aid. I don't know about that, but
okay.
Sorry, Damon. Sorry. I mean, but it's definitely going to be one of those, okay, we've done what we should do. Like, it'll bring back memories of like the Tiller teams that we beat the socks off the team we're supposed to beat the socks of. And so we should compete with people now. And Notre Dame's a team we've competed with in the past, but came up shorter, came up on the losing end of some close matchups. So I will feel really good. Yes. If we, even if it's Indiana State, even though it's Indiana State, if we do our job and like we're sitting starters in the third quarter, I'm going to feel pretty good. Yeah.
Also, shout out to the Purdue fan base, because didn't they just announce this week or last week that they've sold out all of their football, the season tickets for football this year?
Yes, sir.
Is
Meanwhile,
when's the last time that happened?
Well, meanwhile, my local team, not a team I'm a fan of, but a major ACC team, is selling season tickets at Costco. There's a little stand at Costco where you can go buy season tickets.
And they're the little cardboard things.
Yeah, you buy a little cardboard thing and you scan a QR code on it.
Aren't they like preseason ranked this year too?
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about team, but they're selling tickets at Costco. Meanwhile, we're selling all our season tickets. And these aren't individual game tickets. These are season tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're on sale at Costco.
Do you know off the top of your head, close? Because we have 60,000. I mean, they've got to have their stadium's pretty damn big.
I think Ross State has a higher capacity. I know that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge stadium, and Ross State, they cram you in.
That's true.
That's true.
Dude, there's been times I don't even fit in the dang seat.
Yeah, so this particular stadium of no importance seats 60,800.
Wow, that surprises me.
Wow. Yeah, Ross State actually seats more than the four major schools in this area.
Wow.
Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana. So
yeah, so you can triangulate what school I'm talking about using Russ's clues there. But yeah, Ross State 61,441. So just above. Yeah.
Oh,
and
really
they have
good?
birds with teeth. So
Birds
anyway,
guns.
yeah. So I guess I'm the odd man out. I guess I'm not going to be the one drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm still gonna be skeptical. I'm still gonna say, okay, bring on. But like, you think back to was it this season, Damon? You'll remember. Was it this season that we beat Ohio State, that we lost to Eastern Michigan or Western Michigan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we lost to Eastern Michigan. It was a rainy, piss pouring game, and we lost to them. I don't remember.
That was the DJ Knox slipped in the end zone, and they called it an excessive celebration game.
Yeah.
When it was like pouring rain. Like,
there was a giant puddle in that corner of the stadium.
He clearly slipped. It was not an excessive celebration.
There was a small pond right there on the field.
Yeah. So we got a couple games to talk about tonight. In particular, one we might as well start with Ohio State this season, since we've already talked about Ohio State. Feels like we've played Ohio State a lot lately, and maybe because it hasn't ended well for Purdue. But yeah, I'll open it up. What do we think about playing at Ohio State this season?
It's at the shoe, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we're playing on house money, right? I mean, they've got probably the most pressure on them to win the national championship this year. So pretty good ball club, right? They were 11-2 last year. Lost the game to Michigan, and then what happened in the bowl game with Missouri. But they were right there, possibly going to win the Big Ten last year and compete for the national championship again. And they had the number 3 scoring offense last year in the Big Ten, number 2 scoring defense. Beat us 41-7, even with their quarterback issues. And supposedly they fixed those, right? They got in Will Howard. They got in 5-star freshman Julian Cyan. Maybe the IHR guys can tell us how to pronounce that. But Will Howard looks like kind of the lead dog in the quarterback race. They also got, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins is probably, I'm big on Maccabee and I'm big on Love, but, Henderson and Judkins might be the best running back tandem in the country. And that's going to be tough to stop. And they're still going to have a top defense. So, their one weak spot might be their quarterback play, because they were feeling pretty good going in last year, at least, on the outside in. I'm sure Eric and some of those guys had their are questions about it, but it's going to take a lot to go in there. It's going to take a high scoring game. It's going to take our defense making some plays. It's going to be similar to that 49-20 game, right, that we were just talking about, that like we're going to need our defense to make a lot of red zone, maybe even goal line stands, and then our offense just go off to have a shot there.
And so you think the recipe to winning is a high scoring game then? Like
I do. I
just
just
try to
don't see.
outscore.
I mean, our defense should be better this year, but that's Ohio State, man. Like it's not,
And
we can't.
who potentially matches up with, and it's early. We haven't seen any products, but who potentially matches up with Egbuka?
Oh, I think it's Nyland Green. Easy.
You think? Yeah.
Easy.
I mean,
Yeah.
on paper, yeah, I agree with you. But
If
it's just
if it's a
how
speed
unfair
issue-
is it? How unfair is it for the rest of the college football world for Ohio State to lose Marvin Harrison Jr. and then have this guy? I mean, he played well last season, but I mean, he's clearly the number one guy at that position for them.
Yeah.
And
Well, they've done this for a while, right? Like, I'm blanking on his name, but Olave, and then you've got Garrett Wilson in New York with the Jets. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then you got Marvin Harris Jr. and now you got Emeka Egbuka. But I think Nyland Green, if he's not on the map nationally, I think this is a game that he can put himself on the map. But they're going to be deep, right? Like even if we stop their passing game, we're going to have to stop their run game. Breedlove could be a guy we maybe stick on somebody like Egbuka because he's got the speed to stick with anybody this year. So I think we've got two really good corners. They can shut down the passing game of the opponent, but we're gonna have to stop them running the ball. That's where they're gonna start and finish their offense against us.
When Eric commented that Friday night, it worried me that the game was on a Friday night because then I'd have to find a way to get off work. But no, it's Saturday, so you kind of get. That's why I was on my phone checking my calendar. Like, wait, is that a Friday or a Saturday? Yeah, and we will be playing for the Chris Wildman Big Banter Memorial Trophy.
Big Banner. What's that?
Well, we killed them, so we put them in the memorial part of the trophy to memorialize the Big Banter.
Not familiar with that term at all. You have to catch me up on that one.
And then Chris Wilds is very much alive. He just almost passed when we played them last year, so it's just a little joke. It's a hard hat, half Ohio State helmet, half Purdue helmet, and hopefully I'll be wearing that bad boy when I leave the shoe.
Yeah, we're gonna all have to get a picture with that at the game.
We should have a new trophy Friday night. It's called the Big Mac Mary Trophy, and we have some kind of eating contest.
Oh man!
Shout out to Big Mac Mary.
We do a podcast, but instead it's a what do they call it? Like where everybody just eats during the whole thing. It's like a mukbang or something.
Mukbang. Yeah, that's a real thing.
You could have had me guess 100 times, and I would not have got that.
It's
right there
a
with you
real
going. I was
thing.
like, "Where is Damon going with this?" I have no idea.
It's a real thing. It's something that I was introduced to probably 7 or 8 years ago, and it's the most fascinating internet rabbit hole you can go down. The people literally just cover a table in horrible food, like horrible quality food from a health standpoint, but a lot of it, and they just sit for an hour and eat all of it, and millions of people watch it.
And people do this for fun. I don't know. If it was with people I know, then maybe. But if it's strangers and they're grubby little mitts, no, thank you.
No, it's just, and they just sit and talk to the camera, and they just dunk.
How you talking if you're stuffing your gullet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they dunk their cheeseburgers and cups full of various condiments, and just
that sounds like. As a guy who hates the sound of other people eating, that sounds like an absolute nightmare.
Dylan, there is a slight ASMR aspect to it. Like they have quality microphones.
I was listening to a Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura podcast where they're like talking about their last meals, and they're actually eating the last meals, and I couldn't.
Oh yeah, the death row inmate.
The death row, and I couldn't listen to it because you could hear Burt eat.
So Russ,
Russ! I will leave this podcast.
Russ talked about some of our secondary possibly getting some national attention, but I think we have to mention a guy who is getting national attention. I saw some stuff today as well. Dylan Thieneman, man, just like and someone whose opinion matters. I think the quoted stat that I saw from PFF today was he has more range than 80% of NFL safeties. And then having seen the guy play in person a couple times, like I don't necessarily disagree.
He's a human safety net.
He is. And this time last year, we were seeing him on the depth chart, and we're like, man, are we that thin in the secondary? Like we're starting this true freshman, but he's awesome. I'm really excited. I'm probably more excited to see Dylan Thieneman play this season than anyone else.
So I'm not
I'll
going to
ask this
say
then to
that I
you guys
called
that
it.
have played it. How is Thieneman in college football 25?
Pretty daggone good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. He's a little slower than I would like him to be because for some reason they only put his speed rating at a 90. But you've got one of the freshmen coming in. His speed rating is a 95. When Dylan Thieneman is well known as one of the fastest dudes on our roster, so Dylan
Thieneman's one of the fastest dudes in college football, like
yeah.
let alone our roster. That's
he's
faster than Deion Burks.
Yeah. Speaking of Pro Football Focus, Frank, one of the stats I liked most about him last year was that he was actually our highest rated run defender, which is one thing being a safety and being our highest rated run defender, but being a safety that plays as deep as he does, that exhibits his range that they were talking about, right? Like if you're playing that deep and you're our best run defender, like you've got to have range to be able to do that.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was Sanusi Kane, which speaking of Sanusi Kane, they've had a lot of good things to say about him in Baltimore, as much as that pains me to say. Yeah, that they said they're really excited to see what he's going to do. Another guy I'm personally excited about, I'm talking about pros for a second, Corey Trice. Really excited to see him play for the Steelers.
It just sucks he plays for the wrong team.
Dylan, you gotta root for Purdue, man. Always.
I mean, I'll root for Corey Trice to have a great year, just everyone around him to suck. So
anyway, we got a question here from Cody. Do you think Hudson Card would be a sleeper candidate for the Heisman?
No, because Purdue isn't going to be 12-0 and undefeated in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Wow.
Because unless your team is really good and unless your team makes it to the playoffs, the Heisman they don't care about you, which is unfortunate. But
wait, didn't Jaden Daniels win it last year and LSU was like pretty mid?
Yes, but they're also SEC, and you get SEC bias with.
There's a huge SEC bias,
but I will say
it just means more.
I will say if we do win like 8 games this year, and Hudson Card comes back next year because he does have one more year of eligibility after this. He comes back next year. We get a good transfer class. We get guys that develop, and we're projected to win like 10 or 11 games. Then we're talking about a sleeper Hudson Card Heisman.
Man, Purdue wins 11 games.
Do you think? Handle that. What about this question? Do you think that Dylan Thieneman could possibly be a sleeper? I don't even know when the last time a secondary player has been in the race for the Heisman, but
if ever, I don't know.
Probably would have been Charles Woodson, maybe.
So Russ, I'm looking at our run defense on PFF from last season, and you're right. Dylan Thieneman leads by a mile. So Dylan Thieneman's PFF grade, again, a lot of people are going to call this into question because it's PFF and they don't understand how it works. Dylan Thieneman's PFF grade 90.2. Our second highest was Joe Anderson at 78.4, and that's specifically run defense. So
that's 2 I've gotten right. Thanks, Cody.
Yeah. So some specific stats about him.
Russ took his meds before the show.
He had 50 tackles, and Russ, I'm going to appeal to you as probably the most knowledgeable football person here, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, if his dementia doesn't kick in.
So 50 tackles, 50 tackles in run defense, 2 forced fumbles, which is impressive. Only 6 missed tackles, 14 assisted, but his average depth of tackle, 9.9 yards. Is that good or bad? That our best run defender is tackling people.
Pretty bad. You want to hold a run offense to less than 4 yards a carry. So yeah, they're getting 9 yards a pop. That's not
great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
So I see a good side and a bad side. I see the side that obviously you don't want your safety valve literally and figuratively making that play, but it's good to know that if they get past that second level, he's reliable. And also one penalty in run defense for him all last season and 365 plays where he defended the run. So this guy's putting up some impressive numbers. And yeah, I thought it was Sanusi Kane. His grade is 70.1. And his average depth of tackle was 3.8 yards from the line of scrimmage. So a little bit different style, a little bit different position there. But I thought of him as kind of that big run stopping guy. There's let's see who had Corday Sidnor was the only player to have a negative average depth tackle and run defense in 68 plays, -1 yards. So
yeah, I would say on probably low plays because he didn't play a ton.
yeah. It's odd because he played a lot the year before though. We saw a lot of him. So I just don't know if it's a scheme thing.
I 100% think it's a scheme thing. I think that's why you saw so many transfers that startled people after last season was because, we got into the game so late with Walters that guys kind of already made their bed and were like, well, we'll see if it works in this roster, in this scheme. And they kind of maybe felt differently after last year. But
just want to say, Nick Scorton, because I know you're listening, I know you're watching. It's not too late. I think that we'll still take you back if you want to leave Texas A&M. So Nick, just come on home, buddy.
His bank account's probably saying otherwise.
No, real question here. Do you think Walters would let him come back?
I would. Shoot.
I mean, I know Painter's gone on record basically saying you're gone once you're gone, and you close that door forever.
Yeah, but the football program to the basketball program is a little different.
But also,
are you guys talking about like after playing this season at A&M, or are you talking about like this summer?
Right now, this. I
don't know that there's a scenario where he would do that, right? Like I think the conversations would have been had. That
listen, Russ, we're not trying to be, regular Joe Schmoes. Like we're just, geez Louise, have a little fun with it. No.
So speaking of fun, I will say.
Oh, I just realized my name. You son of a gun.
You read it earlier. When I put it in there, you read it.
Listen,
you read it when
the
I put
CTE
it in there.
kicks in, and I have a memory of 5
Before
minutes.
we get to that, I do want to acknowledge that, yes.
No, we're not going to get to that.
Cody, the scenario exists because of our schedule. We're saying it's a gauntlet, and that's why we don't see them as necessarily dark horse candidates for the Heisman. But we've got the schedule that if we go 9-3, then and we have a good season behind Hudson Card or because of Dylan Thieneman, then yeah, I can see them getting some hype about being like a top 8, top 6 Heisman vote getter, but I don't see them necessarily pushing to actually win the Heisman. But I mean, Hudson Card, if he's, one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the Big Ten, in this Big Ten, and we knock off like a Notre Dame, we knock off like an Oregon, maybe still lose the Ohio State and Wisconsin game or something and still end up like 9-3, then yeah, I could see them making noise.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the O-line fares this year because I feel like they made a ton of improvements there. So super stoked to see how that.
So for those that don't know, when Dylan was upset about his name, it's 62-13 because that is the shellacking that Kent from Casual Big Ten put on him in week 2 of our dynasty.
Rigged. Let me tell you what happened. I'll make it quick. Maybe
you got your ass kicked.
No.
You threw 3 pick sixes in a row.
No. Fake news.
You didn't put Arch Manning in the game. What's wrong here?
We had a game going. I don't remember the score, but it was close. It was like a 1-score lead for him. And he's playing as Michigan, mind you. Keep in mind, he's playing as the scandalous cheating.
And you're playing as Texas.
But Texas hadn't cheat. Hook 'em. Anyway, we had a close game going, and then somehow, in a magical turn of events, the game goes poof and goes in the middle, and we have to restart. And it played mind games with me, and I think he read me, and he's figuring out how I like to play, and then somehow magically, the game. I tried to get Commissioner Russ to launch an investigation into it. I even put a fake Texas University letterhead on it, and I think he should, but I think it's a fraudulent win for Russ. Don't comment. You're on the pod. Why? What are you doing?
Oh, I don't know what happened.
That's not
somebody
Russ.
commented some crying faces.
That's Roos Jones.
Maybe they're implying that you're just whining and making excuses.
And it's not an excuse. How does a game that's close go just dead, and then all of a sudden he comes back and wins by? I don't know. I think it's rigged. I think he cheats, but
So I want to talk about something for a second here. Damon mentioned O-line. Russ, you probably know, but if you don't, you can guess who is our number 1 pass blocking lineman last season.
It was either Gus or Embo.
It was Gus Hartwig.
I was gonna say Embo got injured, so probably him.
Who is returning, which is good. Number 2, Preston Nichols. I don't believe he went anywhere, right? Number 3 was Marcus. I think it's Marcus Bowe, right?
Yeah.
So we're returning our top 3 pass blocking linemen, which is awesome, and adding a ton of depth there as well. Number 4 was Garrett Miller. Man, just talk about guys who had a ton of potential and just injuries. He's like the Jaquil Taylor of football.
Right.
But I'd like to focus, like you said, on guys like Gus and Max Clare coming back healthy
Shout
from
out to
injury.
Gus,
Right.
whose beard
Yeah.
looked immaculate at Big Ten Media Days. I even tweeted him, told him he looked handsome as all hell. Good for Gus. Gus is going to go off this year. He did last year. He played every position.
Gus is the toughest person I know, man.
And
He
you look
played
at,
with like 2 broken hands.
and of course his name is Gus. Just a good old, just
Gus
Midwestern, just big old Gus. I love it. I love Gus.
Fun fact: all the guys Dylan is recruiting in our online dynasty are named Gus. So I don't know how this
Bingo.
class is going to turn out.
Yeah.
I haven't paid much attention to recruiting. I should probably do that.
Just all
Yeah,
Gus.
I can imagine. I can imagine Dylan as a recruiting coach.
I'd be
He's
such
out
a good
there and he's like,
recruiter.
listen. I want to get a team full of people named Gus. I know you've never played football, but seriously,
I know,
put
it's
these
just-
pads on, run up and
it's-
down. Okay, yeah, you're a football player. All right,
I just
Gus,
want
you-
gritty
You're
blue
speaking for
collar
Moneyball?
names.
Yeah.
I just want gritty blue collar names like Gus, Rob, Bob, Bill, Dan.
You just want like your whole team to show up with a big chaw on their lip.
Yeah,
Come to
I
practice.
just want some
You just
overall
hand 'em Mountain
wearing.
Dew.
But
you
hey,
just rattled
coach,
off like 50% of the people above the age of 50's names. Like that's like
Russ.
I'm picturing the scene from Moneyball, and like Dylan sits down in this guy's living room with his QB coach, and he's like, "I want you to play quarterback in the Big Ten. It's easier than you think it would be. Tell him, Dave." And he's like, "It's extremely difficult." And he's like, "Whatever, nothing worth doing."
Damn
is
it, Dave,
easy,
that's
you
not
know?
what I meant. I think I'd be a great recruiter. I think I could be like, listen, buddy, you want to come win football games and be joining a good program? Come on over to Purdue.
Coach Holt's in the building here.
Why do you sound like Larry the Cable Guy?
Because you got it. I feel like every
Take the
good
dip
white
out, at least.
old white recruiter is just like, listen, buddy, like Jim Bob Cooter, which is a real human name, by the way. Jim Bob
So
Cooter
is General Booty.
well, Jim Bob Cooter could recruit General Booty. Anyway, listen here, General Booty. If you want to come play good competitive football, you come on over to Purdue and join a good program. Okay, got Coach Walters, great guy. Got Gus at center, that's fantastic. And you got Bill, Bob, Dave, Jim, and Bob, and Russ, and Carl, and whatever other rusty nicknames you can think of.
the streaming platform we used automatically generates what it thinks are clips. It uses AI, but I wish there was like a magic word to like clip the last 30 seconds of that. 'Cause that's
I hope they
I
get
just can't
Jim
wait
Bob
to see
Cooter,
like
right?
Dylan's like NIL program, like the team sponsored by Skull and
and Bud Heavy, or no, I'm like Milwaukee's best.
yeah, Milwaukee's
Yeah.
best. There you go. Let's transition to Penn State. Yeah, there you go,
Yeah.
Russ. Yeah. I got to pick something up I just dropped on the floor, but talk about Penn State.
Yeah, so Penn State's the week after, right? November 16th. It's a home game at Ross-Ade. Penn State, I feel like, everybody talks about Iowa being that team that, like, could be that the great team for the Big Ten that's just a little bit off. But Penn State, I feel like they get trashed because they've been owned by Michigan and Ohio State, but like they are a lot better, I think, than they're really given credit for. They got Drew Aller's possibly the best quarterback in the Big Ten coming in this year, aside from maybe Dylan Gabriel. And they were, 7-2 in the Big Ten last year. Only losing Michigan and Ohio State is not, not something to be laughed at. Like they were the number 1 scoring offense in the Big Ten, number 3 scoring defense. So they were right up there in the top 3 in both categories with Michigan and Ohio State. That's better than Iowa. So I think that with that being said, the game at home to still open the season, was it 2022, right? Or 2021?
2022.
We
the
should
Joey Porter Jr. game, as I like to remember it.
Yes, we should have beat them. Makes them not have that Ohio State and Michigan lore in our heads, though. Like I think this is definitely a winnable game. It's a game that Walters could put us on the map with. But I don't think they should be taken lightly by any means. It's not just because we played them tough a couple years ago in Ross-Ade. It's not the same teams, but no. I'm not intimidated by Franklin coach team.
Yeah, I am. I really am. That game 2 years ago immediately pops in my mind when I think about playing Penn State. And I don't know if it was a game plan thing or what it was. We just kept throwing to Joey Porter Jr. and he just had none of that. And I really felt like we could have. That was the coming out game for Charlie Jones, right?
Yeah, it was his first game at Purdue.
Yeah.
But that was like the kind of the theme for Aiden O'Connell, though. I feel like that whole year was like he was going to throw it to whoever the best defender, like whatever receiver is being covered by their best defender. I feel like that was a very common theme through like all the games that year.
So, Russ, what makes you think Drew Aller's the best QB in the Big Ten? Not saying I disagree. I was just curious.
I mean, he's just solid. Just you watch him play, and the numbers he puts up are right up there, kind of like Hudson Card's being, third in the Big Ten. Well, Aller was even better than Hudson Card. He just maybe didn't have that clutch gene that he needed to be able to knock off a Michigan, Ohio State. I think if he wins one of those games, he's talked about like Dylan Gabriel as a Heisman contending quarterback, which I think he could be. I have to look at their schedule to see if they avoid Michigan or Ohio State this year. They could be a one-loss or even undefeated team this year. And all of a sudden, people are going to change the tune on Drew Aller and go, oh, well, now we see he actually is a good quarterback. But he's just known for not pulling off the big games. Otherwise, he'd be up there.
Yeah, they do play Ohio
too,
State.
Right?
Yeah, they play Ohio State at home. But I do know from the fan base, the current state of the program is, they can't win the big games, right? That's the kind of the narrative right now is we expect to beat Illinois. We expect to beat Kent State. We expect to beat Bowling Green. I'm just looking at their schedule. But yeah, we'll fall flat when Ohio State comes to town. And like, I understand that as a fan. I understand that you want to whoa, Russ. Hold on, I gotta interrupt this here for a second. Big Mac Mary wants to know if Russ is single.
Wow, look at that Big Mary.
Wow.
I haven't heard from her in a while. It's good to hear
Mary
she's
coming
okay.
in clutch.
Look at that profile photo too. She's killing
Is
it.
that how you changed the name, Dylan? Good job.
What? No, what you're talking about.
Who has the favorite odds in that game? Cody, if you can elaborate which game we're talking about, I can check that out for you.
I think he may be talking about Penn State, Ohio State, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, Penn State opens their season against West Virginia at West Virginia.
I feel like that's going to be a tough game. West Virginia was like 9-4 last year, and they're returning 68% of their production.
West Virginia.
I don't know.
Although their fans are angry that they were left off the first coaches poll, so they're not even a top 25 team. But yeah.
So we traveled through West Virginia coming back from Virginia Tech last season, and I feel like it's a scenario with West Virginia when the interactions we had, Russ, with West Virginia fans, they feel like Virginia Tech was their rival, but it seemed like Virginia Tech didn't think that West Virginia was their rival. It seemed like Virginia Tech thought that Virginia was their rival, so it was kind of weird when we stopped in West Virginia, I think to get some beef jerky, right? Yep. They were like, oh, yeah, you guys beat our rival yesterday because we all had our Purdue stuff on. But I didn't hear a single Virginia Tech fan mention that anything about West Virginia. A lot about Virginia, though. But I just thought that was interesting. Some schools just don't have a rival.
Yeah, I think they're stuck in a state because Marshall, I think, is technically their number one rival. But they're, not much of a rival football-wise. And I think athletics-wise as a whole, they're just, they're a Power 5 school, whereas Marshall's a Group of 5 school. So they're probably clamoring for Virginia or Virginia Tech to take them as a rival. The problem is they're in the Big 12. So it's not like they have a conference tie to have a rival there. So they're going to have to pick someone out of the Big 12 to try to form a rivalry with. Rivalry.
So trivia here.
We are rivaled here today.
Trivia question here. I've done a little digging. In that game, 2022, does anyone want to guess how many times did we target Joey Porter Jr.?
Oh, gosh, it was a lot.
So
say 20 times.
Before I bring that up and answer that question, I want to say I think it's more that AOC had, and Damon, you did bring this up during that season as well. AOC just targeted the guy he wanted to target, regardless of who was covering him. And so the defense said, okay, Charlie Jones is your dude. We're going to stick our best defender, obviously, on that guy. 25 seems high to me. I would say it's probably more than teens. I would say probably 17.
18.
Okay, yeah. You're
Price
doing
is
prices
right.
Yeah. It was 14.
14
times. Yeah.
Dang.
But still, that's just a lot for one guy. 7 of those were guarding Charlie Jones, covering Charlie Jones. And Charlie Jones actually did go 4 for 7 against him. in that game. So good on Charlie Jones. Yeah. So
Chuck
I just had
Fizzle,
to,
Bengal, Hooday.
Yeah, because I don't the interception that Porter actually had was not against Charlie Jones, I don't believe.
who was he covering? Props to PFF.
Here we
The
go. Purdue
interception.
fans talking about the past again. Golly.
Yeah. No, it's just it was that game will
Oh, I
forever
know. I'm just messing with you
burn in my mind
because that's not something I feel like people say about Purdue fans. So
I'm not seeing any interceptions here in that game. Russ, are you sure we have one?
wasn't there one
Maybe the
to
fumble.
end the game?
I feel like he had a turnover or forced a turnover, but maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, 14. So yeah, 6 for 14 was what the total stat. But he had 5 pass breakups against Joey Porter Jr. Crazy. Yeah, he's doing well in the NFL for my Steelers too. So I still don't like him. According to this website, Penn State by 3.5. Cody, I'm not sure if that how much merit I give this far out.
Against Purdue or Ohio State?
Purdue.
Oh yeah, that makes them. I mean, I would expect to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, so I was thinking like 5.5 or something.
Where do they play? Where do they play Ohio State at?
They play Ohio State at home.
At home, so
at
Happy Valley.
Penn State. Yeah.
I want to take a guess. Can you pull that one up?
I will.
Dude, I feel like the student sections this year are all gonna just like have big printed off signs of the stadium pulse. For like third downs and stuff instead of like the
Nice.
defense signs, just gonna be stadium.
Hell, I may
pulses.
do that. Shoot.
Nice. You got it. You got it there, Frank.
I'm looking.
I'm going to start to guess.
What's up, Nick?
I would
Go
guess
for
it's still probably Ohio State by like 6.
Hey, where the hell's Vinny's been? Where you?
Yeah, where is Vinny?
Hey.
Final guess, Russ.
I would say Ohio State by 6.5.
You're very close. Ohio State by 5.5.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, again, it's this far out.
Russ
You
is
can put like
losing
a
it.
futures bet on it, but yeah, that's I think this could be the year. I'm honestly not sold on Will Howard, Russ. I'm not. I mean, I know you mentioned some of the concerns about him at the quarterback position for Ohio State, but I think that will make or break that game, the quarterback play.
Well, see, the problem is, and I also mentioned this when I talked about that, was they had quite the quarterback issue last year with McCord and Devin Brown, and they still went 11-2.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we need still more to go our way than their quarterback issue to not work out the way they'd like it to.
Can we have a quarterback issue like that this year? Can we do that? Go 11-2.
11-2, yeah, and being concerned about your quarterback the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and how are we going to see Julian Fleming do in Penn State? I mean, I don't think we'll see any surprises there. He's probably going to do really well.
They have Penn State has Hamilton at running back, right?
Hamilton.
I thought it was Katron Allen was their top guy. Maybe Hamilton might be a backup.
He's listed. Katron Allen's listed number 2 on the depth chart behind Nicholas Singleton. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Singleton is what I was thinking. Singleton.
Yeah.
Hamilton's the play, Damon. Come on.
Yeah, Singleton was a freshman the same year Alar was back in 22, right? He's a junior this year. Yeah, I remember they were really high on Singleton as well, and he was supposed to be like somebody who's going to give Purdue a lot of problems that game, and I don't think he ran for all that many yards against Purdue in that game. I think he was under 100 anyway.
Yeah, I just remember that game fast, just off memory, but
yeah.
So these two games combined, what are we thinking a realistic record is just in these two games? We talked about Ohio State, we talked about Penn State. We're thinking 0-2, 1-1, 2-0.
Let's not talk realistic. Let's just be optimistic here.
No, realistically, do you I'm gonna sound like a negative person here, but I'm just gonna probably chalk the Ohio State game up to a loss. But realistically, I think this Penn State game is one that if things fall the right way, Purdue has a chance of winning this one. I mean, Vegas is saying 3.5. Vegas is like you tell me 3.5 in a football game, that's basically a toss-up, in my opinion. And these guys use they have all sorts of insider knowledge and all of that. So that to me says that they don't even know. So I think this is a game that, like I said, if things fall the right way, Purdue can win. Kind of what you said about Ohio State, Russ, that if if we can get into a high scoring game with them, if we can stick with them offensively, I think there's a really good chance Purdue can pull this one out. TBD, but I think the home advantage is going to play big because it'll be a game the fans will show up for, make some noise, create kind of an intimidating atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how we do at home this year. I feel like it could be a really, really good year just with us selling out all of our season tickets, which I know obviously it depends like how we play. How many people are going to show up to those games, but I still feel like it's going to be a really good year for home.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fun. I'll be going to 2 away games this year, Ohio State and IU. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that too, Damon, at first, but then I'm recalling going to the 2-7 Purdue team playing Minnesota at home, and we were 90%, 95% capacity in that game still against Minnesota at 2-7. So I think with those tickets being sold out, it'll still be a great atmosphere. But I think it's still, the record still affects, the product on the field, obviously. Like, I think that, we're saying this about the middle of the season games and especially the end of season games. What does the team look like? What's our injury situation? Who's healthy? But it's definitely, I feel the same way, Frank. I think that Ohio State's kind of a house money game, right? Like, let's go in there and throw punches and see what we can do. But Penn State's a game that I would give us like a 30%, 35% chance of winning, maybe even closer to, with that 3.5 line number, it could get closer depending on how Hudson Card's played to that point in the season, how the defense has looked to that point in the season. But, we've showed that we can play against a school like Penn State at home and get the job done, or at least almost get the job done and just, piss away.
What kind of injuries are we looking at right now, like with preseason? Because I thought I saw a GBI post the other day talking about some injuries, but I don't have GBI, so I didn't get to read it. Did anybody else check that out and see what kind of injuries we've got right now?
I can't read.
Gotcha.
Can't read good.
I don't do words good.
No, I'm not aware from any injuries. Just quick little Google search says that Marcus Bowe is good to go. So that's
word.
Anything here?
He's been a baller on CFP 25.
I don't want to watch a video. I just want to read.
Yeah, I will say, I know you guys brought that comment up real quick, but Kent's in the comments saying, Dylan, I'll go to the IU game with you. The problem is that's at IU, and I don't think that we as Purdue fans like traveling there.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. It's completely biased. Like the stadium, it's not good, man.
I don't think that's biased at all. It's a terrible stadium.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about their temporary box seating or something they tried to do last year?
No, the suites?
They called those luxury suites. And I could go to my local Home Depot and build the same damn thing in my backyard. So the fact they pass those on as luxury suites is criminal, that they're stealing money from their people for that. No, Kent, I won't be going with you. I'm a little mad at you at the moment since you cheated to win, but
yeah, and so there's an invite here from Nick to go to his tailgate. I can personally attest to the quality of his tailgates. They are top tier.
They also have that dumbass rock. He said
they also have the dumbass rock. Yeah, that's in reference to IU. So supposedly CJ Madden and Corey Stewart are not practicing right now. From what I just read. They're saying that it's just purely precautionary at this point. CJ Madden is the one of the edge transfers from Georgia. Corey Stewart is a offensive line transferred in from Ball State. So obviously 2 guys we want to keep healthy. So I imagine that they'll be good to go for the beginning of the season. But they're saying it's minor and precautionary at this point. And we have a comment here. I just want to hang out with Dylan.
Yeah, get in line, pal. Okay, listen, it's a long wait time for people that want to hang out.
Took the words out of my mouth, Dylan. Like, we're waiting to hang out with him too.
Our last live stream, someone wanted to hang out with Dylan so bad while we were streaming that he,
yeah, that's true.
I just got that.
People are beating down the door to hang out with that man.
Literally, they're literally beating down
blood, sweat, tears into that effort. Yeah.
But yeah, get in line, Ken. Man. I'm pretty cool guy. Kind of a big deal in the Purdue.
Yeah, I've never met Dylan in person. That's crazy.
Yeah, same here.
David, we've met. No, maybe we haven't.
No, we were gonna go to the game last year, the season opener, and then you're like, yeah, no.
Huh? Did I gave you my tickets though? Didn't I?
You should. I mean, we don't need to bring up that you were nice or anything. So let's not talk about that.
Hey, let's talk about how I was a good guy. No, I mean that's because I only went to one game last year. I went to the Ohio State game. That was it. But I'll be at every home game this year. Mark it.
You know what being a good guy gets you, Dylan?
What's that?
62-13.
You know what? No, I say otherwise because unlike Kent, I didn't cheat. So Kent's a cheater and a big boob.
Whose connection went out in that game, Dylan? Whose connection?
It wasn't mine. I like mine was fine. I even looked. I don't know why I'm doing like the politician. Like, no, mine was good. Like mine was good. My internet is the best internet. Everyone's saying it.
It's the best it's ever been.
Everyone's saying it. They're all talking about how my internet is the best internet that the college huddle has to offer. It's
what is that? Who is that? Gilbert Gottfried? I'm not sure who that is supposed to be.
You got Lou Holtz. You got
to be madder if it's Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, my internet's the best internet there ever is in the Big Ten. I tell you, but Notre Dame, the great school of Notre Dame, is gonna be just fine.
Boiler Express podcast now featuring the man of 1,000 voices.
We don't need the Big Ten.
He's the sloth from Ice Age. That's who.
The school of Notre Dame will be just fine without the Big Ten.
Supposedly Tarian Grant is a little dinged up too. But Walter said all three of these guys.
Oh, that's the 5-star.
Yeah, he said all three of these guys, if we had a game today, they would all be playing. So but we don't have a game today. So
injury, we play.
Yeah. So we got some comments here. Watch the stream back up 19 in the third quarter. Why would I quit? Ouch.
See, I wasn't gonna bring up that it was a 2-possession game there or 3-possession game there, Dylan. When you say close game, but
yeah, here it is, Kent. Cody has a Rowdy shirt for him that he bought for Dylan. He wants to go to the game, so he can give it to him.
Listen, Cody, come to any home game this year, and I'm there. Yeah, Coach Lou Holtz from the school.
Too, this May or next May, we got Cody's wedding. We're all going to.
Be May.
Yeah.
Lou Holtz will be at Cody's wedding, and I'm gonna be the guy who says all the words and talk about the University of Notre Dame and how great this establishment is, and go Notre Dame.
Dylan, one thing that you and I are gonna have to do on here, since we'll probably never meet in person, we'll have to consume that beverage that was shipped to us.
I literally have not taken that out of the package. I legit think it's in my old office. Like I haven't even gotten it. I haven't even brought it home. No, wait, it's home. It's sitting by my front door. And like
this is the beer when we did that collaboration with the Maryland podcast that we won as a result.
Those damn turtle heads.
Yeah, so we got some Maryland beer that we still haven't drank. We'll have to do that.
Legit.
I just love the packaging it came in for you guys.
It legit looked like a problem.
Yes,
Thanks.
Yes, it did.
Thanks, Cat from Casual Big Ten, but the school in Notre Dame.
Yeah, for anyone who's not visually watching, people in the comments are egging them on. So everyone's loving it. So they're asking them to do it.
So I'm going to talk like this for the rest of the game.
Since Kent's here, I was going to do like a power rankings for our online dynasty, and it was going to be like,
oh yeah, let's hear it.
Kent's number 1, Dylan in the first game is like number 2, and then it's like everybody else, and then dead last is Dylan in the second game.
You son of
when
a
he
gun.
lost 62-13.
You son of a gun. Well, who have you played yet?
Hey, I've got a date with Nick tomorrow night, so we're supposed to be playing our dynasty game. We're supposed to play tonight, but I think he weaseled out, wanted to get some more practice.
Wow. Are you going to stream it?
I'm going to try.
Can I
be on my Twitch? I'm going to try to get it on some other platform.
Jiminy Christmas, what was that? No, I want to come in and commentate. If that Lou Holtz
he's gonna do commentary as Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz is gonna come in and be like, none of these schools are the school of Notre Dame, but Russ Johnson is the worst.
I'm here for it.
I tell you, one of my favorite moments on this show was when we had Eric from the OHIO podcast on, and he was talking about Lou Holtz saying that the players for Ohio State weren't tough, and Ryan Day his response to that. He got really angry.
Ryan Day dyes his beard, so I don't want to hear it. All my gray is natural, and I haven't let it go. But Ryan Day dyes his beard with Just for Men.
And doesn't he claim that's all natural?
It's not. There are literal.
There are pictures of him that he's like 100% gray.
It's jet black. He's got to be like what 48, 49, 50, somewhere around there. You can't have jet black hair at that age. I mean, look at Russ. For goodness sake.
And I mean, Dylan's a LeBron fan, so he knows about altered hairlines and hair colors.
Listen, that dude does. Okay, like that you can't. KD doesn't, but Bron does kind of adjust his hairline at times. It fluctuates. For the opening ceremonies, great hairline. For like the game tonight, same, like gray. It's. I don't know what hair dye he uses, but it doesn't last long.
Kent, I really hope that our matchup, that we get to the national championship game, and that's the next time we play, because I'm telling you, man, got some things up my sleeve. I think
Wait,
you're
who are
taking
you?
everybody lightly.
What team are you? What team?
Missouri.
Why'd you pick Missouri?
Because they're black and gold, and they're not in
black
the Big
and
Ten.
yellow.
We were trying. No, it's actually officially black and gold.
Yeah.
But I wanted to pick an SEC team, but not an actual traditional SEC team, because I know we're not fans of the SEC. So I thought, hey, and they're in the same tier as the Purdue program. They're a 3-star program on that game. So like I thought, okay, I'm not like cheating up too bad. But check out the Heisman rankings. I got Luther Burden ahead of old Donovan Edwards there at Michigan. So
yeah, I think you can say that about Missouri and like Vanderbilt, that they're like the two SEC schools that are like.
Vandy's the IU of the SEC.
I would not
really SEC.
That's strict. Vandy, yeah, Vandy is like Ball State in the Big Ten. That's what.
What's that clip of the one kid after they beat somebody and he's like, "Bama's next, and we're going to show them what SEC ball is all about." And Jalen Hurts is like, "Well, technically, yes, they are up next in the schedule, so they would be correct." And then they beat them like 63-0 or something.
Yeah, that was funny.
And now they're doing stadium renovations, and their jumbotron is hung up on two like
construction cranes.
Yeah, you know, words.
Hey, I mean, we can't make fun of that, because that's how our lights used to be. So
yeah,
that's true.
We didn't have to wheel those in.
So I know we're at the hour mark right now. Are we going to talk at all about the Michigan stuff coming out?
Yeah,
I don't know enough about it yet, but we can talk about
take
it.
away all their wins
and
Purdue. And Purdue is the 2021 Big Ten champions.
22.
Purdue is the 2020. I can't do a Trump. I'm sorry. I can do the motions. I just can't do the voice.
You turn into Gilbert Godfrey when you start talking.
Yeah, Notre Dame's a fraudulent program.
Sorry, y'all wanted Trump and Holtz. Sorry, you get Sid from Ice Age and
I could do that. I just combine. The Michigan program is a fraudulent program.
That's probably closer to Trump than what you were doing before, actually.
Yeah, it is actually.
I want to hear Trump and Lou Holtz have a conversation.
They probably have. I mean, realistically,
I'm sure they have. But
two public figures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cody, break out the banner. Where do we put banners in Ross-Ade?
I'm blanking on that one.
Yeah,
probably just in the
under the Tiller Tunnel.
There you go. I like it.
Shout out to Paul Sadler. You take my recommendation there from Purdue Creative. I know what I'm talking about.
So, question here: do you guys think anything will get vacated? Honestly, haven't heard anyone take a solid stand either way.
So I heard something that was said. I think it was shout out JR, Big Ten Huddle, doing great work over there. I think he mentioned that it really doesn't matter, right? That it really does. Like the fans experienced them winning a national championship. The team experienced winning the national championship. So you can say it's vacated or not, but they played in those games. Those games happened. They raised that trophy. And so if you vacate it, it's like, so what? Like, Louisville doesn't care that they got their NCAA basketball championship vacated.
No, they don't.
So it's like, I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I think the only thing that would matter is if they do something crazy like a postseason ban, or they start banning coaches for this year. But you saw what happened last year when Harbaugh missed the third of the season. They won the damn national championship. So like,
did Louisville did they get to keep the trophy? Like, do they still have that?
No, but like the fans, the largely held notion is that, like, I mean, I saw it on TV. Like you can't just take it away.
I seen it, right.
But I mean, we all can't hide around the fact that what was Harbaugh's record was like 49-26 before Stallions, and then he went 40-3 after Stallions. Like, come on.
Yep. And now we have this year, they're going to have communication devices in the helmets. So at least we made that change. But Frank, have you ever heard that commercial around Louisville that it's the Luke Hancock commercial for, like, I can't remember the law department, but he talks about how he used some local law departments, so use them because they helped me get my NCAA Final Four trophy back or whatever after they vacated that title. And
I have not, but that's some fantastic advertising though. Like
Yeah.
Luke Hancock went off in that. What did he hit like 5 threes in the first
He
half?
went nuts that final.
It was
fourth, for
him,
sure.
and in that first half, it was him and Spike Albrecht. Actually, they're just like trading 3-pointers that whole.
And Spike
first half.
Albrecht, like he stayed with Michigan, right? They were able to hold on to him, or
No, he didn't. Yeah,
Dude,
which
I
the
love that he
one.
talks more about Purdue than he does Michigan at
Well,
all.
and
He just wants to-
I often
thanks for bringing
forget
it up,
he
man.
went to
Yeah,
Michigan.
That's true. That's true.
The time I tailgated with Spike, I mean, I was with him for like 2 hours. So I asked him if he was cheering for Purdue or Michigan because Purdue was playing Michigan in football. It was a really hot game, Dylan. You'll remember that one. And he just laughed. He didn't give me an answer. So
He's like,
yeah,
that's the politician's answer right there.
so
As he was wearing black and gold and had his face painted black and gold. Yeah.
Kent says he was at that Louisville national championship game and he wants his money back if it didn't happen. Yeah, seriously. As a fan, I would race that.
Easy, Kent. Your fandom's showing there, bud. Easy.
Kent, I know who Kent actually is a fan of, which a lot of people haven't figured it out yet. But like, if I didn't know, I would think he was a fan of like 4 different schools.
Hey, the Boiler Express listeners know now.
Well, I didn't say
Nick had a good time at that Michigan game, apparently.
Yeah,
it's not Michigan.
He says he blacked out. 94 degrees.
it.
It was
Nick,
hot. I hate
you didn't
Gatorade,
black
but I
out
drank
because it was
Gatorade
hot.
every day.
You blacked out for other reasons.
That was when I saw Nick shotgun a hot Coors
Warm
Light,
beer.
Oh.
Is it?
which I mentioned like a
That
few
makes me
times.
want to throw up just thinking about it. Good lord.
no, I
Nick.
was sitting there.
By the way, we should probably play our sponsored ads now since we didn't do it at the halfway point before we wrap up here.
Hey, you bring good points. I mean, we could just talk about them now instead of playing the ads.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk
You
about it now.
go to
Then we'll wrap up.
martinvintage.com and use code BXP at checkout for 10% off your order. They have every throwback logo you can imagine, every Pete logo you love. They're a great family-owned and operated business that just so happen to be Purdue alums. I have multiple of their shirts. I just always forget to put them on before the podcast. That's on me. But no, they're great people, great quality clothing, and I love them to death. I've been on a Martin Vintage kick for many, many years now. And when I reached out to them and asked if they wanted to, be homies with the pod, they were instantly super stoked and instantly gave us a coupon code, whatever you call them, coupon. And they're just good people, and they put a lot of thought, a lot of work into these shirts, and yeah, man, I like their work. It's all licensed with Purdue. It's all legit. And so, martinvintage.com, use code BXP at checkout for 10% off. Shout out to Martin Vintage. Nailed it. Frank, you want to do the
Yeah, another awesome sponsor, cbbanalytics.com. Pretty much anything you'd want to know about college basketball. He's rolled out a lot of new cool things this summer too, which I'll be really excited to see this upcoming season. But you can get a free subscription. You can go on there and just be able to see Purdue stats at no cost. But if you're a true college basketball fan, you want to know all the stats, all the numbers, all the matchup insights, you can get a pro tier subscription there. I mean, literally anything you could ever want to know. They have it, and they're great people, fantastic to work with. You'll see their stuff, you'll see their shot charts on Big Ten Network throughout the season. So definitely head over, check them out. Definitely get yourself at least a Purdue subscription, if not a pro subscription. It's where a lot of our stats and insights that we bring to you during basketball season come from. So yeah, cbbanalytics.com. Make sure to go check them out.
Yeah, and if when you go to the games this year, make sure you get yourself a Cincy Blitz board as well. You can go to cincyblitzboard.com. I think they have their website up and running yet. I know that they were working on it. If not, you can go to their Twitter at Cincy Blitzboard and check them out as well. It's a really great game for tailgating, for family events, whatever it is. Really fun game to play with family, friends, and what's really cool is they kind of left it open to interpretation, so you can kind of make or add in rules as you go, which can make a lot of fun. So definitely a lot of fun, and they put a ton of detail into it, like any design that you can possibly think of for any team. It's not just for Purdue. Any team whatsoever, any design, they can make it happen. So definitely check
Russ
those guys
has one
out.
with the Marines logo and that Purdue logo. And I tried to get them to put an AARP logo hidden on there, but they wouldn't do it.
Good, honest people.
Yeah, they're good people. They're not like me. I'm a good guy. I try. Yeah.
Well, Damon, you want to sign us off here?
Yeah. So shout out to everybody that has stayed with us. I know this off season's been kind of wonky. I know that we never really came out and said what our schedule was going to be like in the off season, but we definitely wanted to be more consistent than we were. I know not all of us weren't consistent. Russ and Dylan really, steered the ship while
Like I said,
while
actually
Frank,
killing us. Ugh.
while Frank and Chris and I were out doing other stuff. So
Frank
shout out to those
traveled
guys
the world.
for carrying the podcast in the off season, but we're excited to be back here on a weekly basis. Excited to talk about Purdue football. Stoked to see how the season unfolds. A lot of great stuff to look forward to. Top 30 recruiting class, top 30 transfer portal class coming in. Got some good guys like Maccabee, Card. Returning as well, Gus Hartwig. So a lot of stuff to look forward to as well. So hopefully we can enjoy the season. We'll see you guys next week. So boiler up, hammer down.
I do want to add too. I know this is the rest thing. I always add one thing. College huddle. The college huddle. I don't want to not mention the college huddle. We're also excited about going in this season, partnering with the college huddle, the Big Ten huddle. JR's over there, just like when we were with that whatever network last year. I can't remember what the name of the network was, but so we're with college huddle. Check out Big Ten huddle. That's what we're doing the online dynasty with. So you might see some gaming stuff too. But boiler up, y'all.
I'm ready for football, boys.